You wake up before sunrise, not because you want to, but because someone near the entrance of the shelter has gone completely still. That's usually enough to wake everyone. The fire in the middle of the shelter is low now, just a few orange coals glowing under ash, and the air is so cold that every breath feels sharp in your chest. People around you begin shifting under heavy animal hides, not saying anything yet, just listening. Then you hear it too. Something outside, not loud, just close. A branch cracking, snow moving, something heavy passing somewhere beyond the edge of the firelight. Nobody panics. Panic wastes energy, but everyone is awake now. A man reaches for a spear. A child is pulled closer beneath the furs. One of the elder women leans towards the fire and carefully feeds it another piece of wood, trying not to let the flames die completely. This is how the day begins. Not with an alarm, not with sunlight through a window, but with cold darkness and the quiet understanding that the outside world is dangerous. This was normal life during the Ice Age. Around 20,000 years ago, huge parts of the world were locked in freezing conditions. Ice sheets covered enormous areas, forests were smaller in many places, and vast open landscapes stretched for miles. To us, it sounds ancient. To them, it was just another morning. The sound outside fades. Maybe it was a wolf. Maybe it was snow falling from a branch. Maybe it was something larger that decided not to come closer. Nobody knows for sure, and nobody really wants to find out. So the camp begins to move, slowly at first. Nobody wastes energy in the cold. Someone checks the tools. Another person scrapes fat from a hide. A hunter tests the sharp edge of a stone point with his thumb. A little later, some of the group moves farther from camp. Not to hunt yet. First they check the traps placed the day before. The snow is hard in some places and soft in others, which makes every step tiring. Every breath becomes visible in the freezing air. The traps are simple, nothing like the metal traps people imagine today. Maybe a snare made from twisted plant fibers, maybe stones arranged near an animal path guiding smaller animals into a narrow place where they can be caught. Ice Age survival was not just about chasing mammoths with spears. Most days were probably less dramatic than that. People checked traps, collected wood, watched animal trails, repaired tools, followed patterns. Survival was not one heroic moment. It was hundreds of small decisions made correctly. At the first trap, there is nothing. Just snow. At the second, nothing again. No food. No sign that anything even came close. Nobody complains, but everybody feels it. By the third trap, there is movement. Something small. A hare caught overnight. It is not enough to feed the whole group. Not even close. But it matters. In the Ice Age, small food was still food. Fur could become lining. Bones could become tools. Sinew could become thread. Nothing useful was wasted. The animal is carried back carefully. Not celebrated. Just accepted. A little relief. A little disappointment. Both at the same time. Because the group still needs more. By mid-morning, the hunters leave. This is the part of the day everyone understands without needing to say much. If they return with food, the camp changes. If they return with nothing, the night becomes harder. The hunters move out across the frozen land, carrying spears tipped with stone. They are not the strongest creatures here, not even close. A human body is fragile compared with the animals around it. No claws, no thick fur, no great speed, no powerful jaws. But humans have something else. They notice things. A mark in the snow, a broken plant stem, a patch of disturbed ground, a distant shape moving against the white landscape. Then someone raises a hand. Everyone stops. Tracks. Fresh ones. For the first time all morning there is real hope. Reindeer. Food, hide, bone, sinew, warmth. One animal can mean more than a meal. It can mean clothing, tools, thread, fuel, and a few more days where nobody has to wonder if the group will make it. But then someone points to another set of tracks nearby. Wolves. Several of them. Fresh too. Nobody says much. There is nothing clever to say. The same animals you are hunting may also be hunted by something else, and if you are careless, you can become part of that chain very quickly. Still, the group keeps going, because going back empty-handed has its own danger. Hours pass. The cold gets into everything. Your hands hurt around the spear. Your legs ache from moving through uneven snow. Your throat feels dry from the freezing air. Then finally, there is movement ahead. A herd. The hunters lower themselves. This quiet is different. Not frightened quiet. Focused quiet. Humans survive because of moments like this, because they could work together without shouting. because they could plan, because they could understand what another person was about to do just by looking at them. The hunters spread slightly. One person moves around the side, keeping low. Another waits behind a rise in the ground. Nobody runs yet. Running too early wastes the only chance they might get all day. For a few moments, everything holds still. The wind, the hunters, the animals. Then one of the reindeer lifts its head. It has noticed something. The herd begins to shift, and suddenly the quiet breaks. The hunters move. Not wildly, not randomly. They push the animal towards a place where the ground narrows, where snow and stone make escape harder. This is not a clean scene. It is messy, breathless, dangerous. A spear is thrown and misses. Another hunter slips but catches himself. The herd surges forward, hooves kicking snow into the air, bodies colliding as they try to escape. One animal breaks the wrong way. For a second, it comes too close, close enough that one wrong step could crush a person's leg. Then a spear hits. The animal stumbles. The hunters close in. And even after all of that, nobody relaxes, because a wounded animal is still powerful. It can still kick, still panic, still injure someone badly enough that the victory becomes a disaster. Eventually, it is over. For a few seconds, nobody says anything. The hunters just stand there, breathing hard in the freezing air. Then the work begins again. Killing the animal is only part of survival. Now it has to be cut, carried, protected, shared, used properly. Waste in this world is not just careless, it is dangerous. By late afternoon, the hunters return. This time they are carrying meat. The mood in camp changes almost immediately. Children run closer. Adults who looked tired all day suddenly move with purpose. Someone laughs, not loudly, but enough that it feels strange after so many hours of tension. For tonight, people will eat, and that means everything. Fat crackles near the fire. Smoke rises into the cold air. Hands reach toward warmth. People talk more now. Someone tells the story of the hunt, way more dramatic than it really was because humans have always done that. For a while, the Ice Age doesn't only feel cruel, it feels human. There is relief, there is noise, there is the smell of cooked meat. There are people watching sparks drift upward, maybe smiling when one disappears into the dark, and above them is a sky almost no modern human has ever seen. Someone stays awake longer than the others, watching the edge of the darkness. Tomorrow, the traps will need checking again. The fire will need feeding again. The hunger will return again. But tonight, for now, the group is alive. They made it through another morning, another hunt, another meal, another day. A normal day in the Ice Age was not just a fight against the cold. It was a reminder of what humans are when everything else is stripped away. No comfort, no technology, no safety net, just fear, hunger, fire, and each other. And somehow, that was enough.